Mahabharata, Chapter 20, Arjun's Quest for Weapons, read by Nirvan Bajaj and Ekveer Bajaj. Mahabharata, Chapter 20, Arjun's Quest for Weapons. Vaishnapayan then continued. Bidden by Yudhishthir, Arjun prepared to leave on his quest of acquiring celestial weapons with the help of the secret knowledge of Pratismriti. He burned within with the desire to obtain the weapons from Indra and Shiva and slay the sons of the Dhritarashtra. He equipped himself with the Gandiva, two inexhaustible quivers, armors, finger guards and a leather armband. He then offered oblation to the fire god and gold coins to the Brahmins. The latter blessed him, saying, "Proceed on your mission. Victory will be ours." Seeing Arjun in his warlike attire, taking leave of others, Draupadi said, "O mighty Arjun, may the wishes of your mother and your own ambitions be fulfilled. After you go in quest of the weapons, your brothers will undoubtedly remember your Veda again and again. We will find solace neither in indulgence nor in wealth. I pray to Vasu, Rudra, Aditya, the Maruts, and all other gods. May they look after your well-being." After Draupadi became silent, Arjun circumambulated his brothers and departed on the journey. Equipped with the yogic knowledge of Pratismriti, Arjun journeyed as speedily as the mind and reached in a day's time the holy Himalayas, the abode of the gods. Walking tirelessly over the Himalayas and the Gandhamdana mountain, he arrived at Indrakila. Suddenly, he heard, "Stop!" The Pandav looked around and saw an ascetic with matted hair sitting under a tree. His thin, tawny-colored eyes was glowing with a heavenly radiance. The great ascetic asked Arjun, "Who are you? Why have you come here following the dharma of a Kshatriya, equipped with bow and arrows, sword and armor? This place is the hermitage of ascetic Brahmins who are peace-loving and devoid of all passions. This place is never seen of battle, and so there is no need for anyone to carry weapons here. You have attained your final goal by coming here, so throw away your arms." Thus the great sage, with a smile on his face, repeatedly asked Arjun to discard his weapons. But Arjun was not persuaded to do so. Pleased and satisfied, the Brahman then said, "O destroyer of enemies, I am Indra. You may ask me a boon." Then the gallant Arjun, a jewel of the Kuru family, bowed to him and with folded arms said, "O Lord, I have come here to acquire the knowledge of all the weapons from you. Please grant me this wish." Indra said with a smile, "Now that you have reached here, what do you want with weapons? You may as well ask for the best life in the heavens." Arjun replied, "O King of Devas, I do not have any greed or lust, neither do I desire to attain divinity. Leaving my brothers behind in the forest, I have come to learn the means of taking revenge on our enemies. And if I divide from it, it will be perpetual infamy for me." And as Arjun said this, Indra, the destroyer of Vritra, confronted him and said in a pleasing voice, "My child, when you have pleased and beheld Shiva, the wielder of the Shula, I shall give you the celestial weapons. O son of Kundi, strive to behold Shiva. After that, you shall arrive in heaven." Saying this, Indra disappeared and Arjun continued his penance there for a while. Later, he left for the Himalayas in quest of Shiva. Adorning himself in tree bark and deer skin and eating only dried leaves, Arjun embarked upon his penance. In the first month, he ate only in 3 days. In the second, only in 6 days. And once in a fortnight during the third month. From the fourth, he consumed nothing but the air, and standing on his toes with raised arms, he continued to meditate. When all the sages who witnessed his great tapas approached to Shiva to tell the god about it, Bowing to him, they said, "O Lord of Lords, the splendid Arjuna has been performing tapas in the Himalayas, and the entire region has become cloudy as a result of his intense meditations. We do not know what he is after, but we must have been perturbed. Pray, stop him." On hearing these words of the pure-hearted sages, the Lord of all creation said, "You need not worry about Arjuna. He does not desire the heaven, wealth, or eternal life. I know what he has come for. Today I will fulfill his wishes." Thus, assured by Shiva, the sages went back to their abodes, and Shiva assumed the form of a hunter, and he glowed like a golden tree, and looked as huge as if he were a second Himalaya. He took his chular, his bow and his arrows, which were vicious like venomous snakes, and came speedily to where Arjuna was meditating. With him came his consort Uma, who was dressed like a huntress and surrounded by thousands of women. His associates, dressed in a variety of attires, came with him too. When Shiva came near Arjuna, he saw a Danava, Muka, which is an Asura, who had assumed the form of a boar, rushing at Arjuna with a view to kill him. And seeing this, Arjuna picked up his Gandiva, mounted on it, and his snake-like arrow, and said to the boar, "O wicked one, I have caused you no harm, and yet you want to kill me. For this I am going to send you to the abode of death." But just then Shiva, in the guise of a hunter, stopped Arjuna from shooting and said, "O ascetic, I am the one who first spotted this boar, luminous like the Indraki." Without paying any heed to him, Arjuna sent an arrow at the boar. At the same moment, the hunter also dispatched his arrow, which flew across like a thunderbolt. Both the arrows hit the mountain like Muka at the same time. There was a deafening report, as if a mountain had been struck by a thunderbolt. Later, pierced with more arrows dispatched by both Arjuna and the hunter, the boar died, assuming his original form of a Danava. Then Arjuna, looking at the hunter, said with a smile, "Who are you, roaming with women in this deadly forest? Are you not afraid? And why did you shoot the beast after I had shot it? You have acted against the established rules of hunting, and you deserve to die at my hands." Hearing these words of Arjuna, the hunter laughed and said, "You need not worry about me. We are forest dwellers, and it is natural that we trade in the forest. But you are young and appear to have been brought up in luxury. Why are you living alone in the forest?" Arjuna said, "I live without fear like the second Kartikeya in this grand forest with my Gandiva and other fiery weapons. This creature, assuming the form of a beast, came to kill me and in turn got himself killed by me." The hunter said, "It was I who aimed at him first, and he has fallen to my arrows." "Oh, you imbecile! You are trying to glorify yourself through the achievement of others, so I will not spare your life. Be ready. I am now releasing my arrows on you. Shoot as you please." Angered by these words, Arjuna started shooting his arrows. The hunter, pleased at heart, easily contained them, and he said, try again, the sharpest of your arrows." Then the two attacked each other with snake-like arrows. Lord Shiva easily absorbed the rain of arrows released by Arjuna and remained unhurt and unmoved like a mountain. Awed by the prowess of his adversary, Arjuna said in appreciation, "Bravo, bravo!" And he muttered, "The body of this hill-dweller hunter looks delicate, yet he stands like a rock, even hit by the most powerful arrows from my Gandiva. Who could he be? Could he be Rudra himself, or some other god, or a Yakshas, or an Asura? I have heard the gods often visit this mountain. Shiva alone and none other can contain my shower of arrows. And if he is any lesser god, I will soon dispatch him to the abode of death with the sharpest of my arrows." Thinking thus, O monarch, Arjuna assailed the hunter with a shower of arrows, which pierced the latter like the rays of the sun. But the wielder of the Shula observed all of them in the manner a mountain absorbs shower of rocks. Soon Arjuna nearly exhausted his arrows and became greatly alarmed. He remembered that his two quivers, presented by Agni at the time of the Khandav Dhana, were inexhaustible. He again wondered, who could this hunter be? Who is not affected by my arrows? Let me destroy him with the tip of my bow. Thinking this, Arjuna attacked the hunter with his bow and enclosing him within the bowstring started hitting him with his thunder-like fist. The hunter snatched away Arjun's celestial bow and had it concealed in himself. Then Arjun, desirous of ending the battle, took a sword and hit the hunter on his head. Twack! But the sword, which could cut through a stone, shattered into pieces as soon as it touched the hunter's head. Then Arjun started hurling trees and rocks, but the Lord, in the guise of a hunter, observed all these. Then the mighty Arjun started fisting the indomitable hunter, who returned the blows, causing much pain to the son of Kunti. Then they wrestled with each other, and with the rubbing of their bodies, sparks and smoke emanated. Then, smothered by Shiva in a hug, Arjun fell to the ground like a lifeless lump. After regaining consciousness, Arjun, his body smeared with blood and his mind filled with despair, got up, created a mud image of Shiva, Linga, and worshipped the Lord with a garland of flowers. And lo, behold, the garland adorned the head of the hunter. Arjun thought to himself, it is Lord Shiva himself. I am blessed. He fell at the feet of the hunter, who said in a voice as majestic as the thunder, I am pleased with your gallant effort. There is no Kshatriya equal to you in valor. You have proved today that you are equal to me in power and in valor. I grant you divine vision, and you will conquer all your enemies even if they be Devas. Then Arjun beheld the Mahadev and Mahadevi in their true form. Partha, the conqueror of the cities of the enemies, knelt down before them and pleased them with prayers. And he said, O God of the gods, I have come to this mountain inhabited by my ascetics with the desire to behold you. But, O Shiva, I fought with you out of ignorance. Please forgive me for my audacity. Then the omnipotent God took Arjun's hand and said with a smile, You are already forgiven. Then they embraced each other, and the Lord, who has the bull for an emblem on his flag, confronted Arjun, saying, In your previous birth, you were Nara, the universal man, and along with Narayana, who was Vishnu, you upheld the entire universe. Here is your Gandiva, which you alone are worthy of carrying, and these two quiver of yours will once again become inexhaustible. Now you may ask for any boon you wish. Arjun said, Please give me the supremely destructive weapon Pashupata, which is known as Brahmashira. With this weapon, I will go to war and inflict defeat on Karna, Bhishma, Kripa and Drona. Give me this weapon which at my bidding will produce thousands of spears, menacing maces and innumerable arrows as venomous as poison snakes. The Lord said, O Pandav, I am giving you my dearest weapon, the Pashupata. You shall be able to hold it, wield it and retrieve it. Let alone humans, even the gods like Indra, Yama, Kubera and Pavana are unfamiliar with this weapon. But do not use it, O Partha, on an impulse. If used on anyone inferior in strength, the weapon will destroy the whole universe. Then Shiva gave Arjun the deadly weapon along with the knowledge of its applications and retrievals. And the weapon submitted itself to Arjun as it does to Shiva, the consort of Uma. As soon as Arjun took possession of the weapon, the earth along with its mountains, forests, trees, oceans, cities and villages trembled. And the sky and the wind vibrated with the sound of thousands of conch shells, drums and trumpets. And the Devas and the Danavas came out and witnessed Arjun accepting the mighty and radiant weapon. Then instructing Arjun to proceed to heaven, the Lord of the Devas, accompanied by Uma, rose to the sky and disappeared. O monarch, as Shiva left, Arjun remained overwhelmed with the thought that Mahadev had himself appeared before him and touched him with his hands. And then he thought, I have attained my goal. I have as good as conquered my enemies. As the all-powerful Partha pondered thus, Varun, the lord of the waters, appeared before him, making the place bright with the glow of his gem-like complexion. Along with him came the aquatic animals, the snakes, the ruling gods of the rivers, the Daityas and the Sadhyas, who were different kind of beings. Then came Kubera, who was the god of wealth, on a radiant chariot, His complexion was all golden as the waters of the Jambu river. All the Yakshas came with him. In another Vimana came Yama, the god of death, the destroyer of all the creatures. He, the son of Surya, carried in his hands the Danda, the rod of destiny, and came with the ancestral spirits of men in human forms. Immediately after that came Indra, the king of the Devas, riding on his elephant Airavat. He was accompanied by his consort Indrani, who was Shachi, and all the Devas. They all descended on the glowing and colourful peak of the great mountain and watched Arjuna, who had now immeasurable radiance. Then Yama, the master of Dharma, who had stationed himself in the south, said in a thundering voice, "O Arjuna, look at us. We, the Lokpalas, the rulers of different worlds, are here. In your previous incarnation, you were Nara, the great soul. By the design of Brahma, you have been reborn as a man, to triumph in a battle over the gallant and the righteous Bhishma, descendant from a Vasu, and to inflict defeat on the Kshatriyas who are protected by the son Drona, the son of Bharadwaj, and to kill the mighty Danavas, including Nivatakachas, who are born as men, and lastly to destroy the valiant and mighty Karna, who is born of my father Surya. Now, O man of mighty arms, take this irresistible weapon, the Danda." Then, O monarch, Partha, the descendant of Kuru, took the Danda, and with it the knowledge of its art of application and control. Then Varun, who was stationed in the western horizon, said, "I am giving you the Varuna Pasha, this inescapable nose of mine. I have enchained thousands of Danavas with this during our battle with the Asura Taraka. And if you desire to find even Yama with this, he will not be able to escape." Then Kubera, the treasurer of the Devas and the resident of the Mount Kailash, said, "Take this, the powerful and burning Antardhan, the all-effacing destroyer of enemies. With this I had burned mighty Asuras at the time when Shiva slayed Tripura. And with this you will be able to destroy the entire army of Duryodhana." After Arjuna received all these great warriors, along with the knowledge of how to use them, Indra said, "O mighty son of Kunti, you have attained divinity and must proceed to heaven, the abode of Devas. There you have to perform certain duties for the Devas, so get ready. My charioteer will soon come with his to take you there." Then Dhananjay, awestruck on seeing all the Lokapalas, devotedly worshipped them with fruits and water. Then the Lokapalas took leave of them and went back to their respective worlds. And thus ends the 20th session of our rendering of Vaishampayan's recital of Vyasa's immortal Ityasa, the Mahabharata. Stay tuned for the Mahabharata chapter 21, and it is called Arjuna in Indra Roka. Please subscribe to this channel, like, share, and comment on this video. Thank you and Namaste.